You've heard many times probably that you should eat a balanced diet, not overeat, reduce consumption of sugar. You probably agree, but you still cannot do it. This video is for those who know perfectly well how healthy eating looks like, but cannot stick to it. I am Olga Onoshenko, a certified psychotherapist, nutritionist, personal trainer, PhD, and I've been helping people to lose weight and improve their relationships with food, body and themselves for 10 years. And this is a channel that marries psychology and physiology of healthy weight. And as you can see, I'm away. Try to guess in comments where I am now. What does healthy eating really mean? This is not the list of good foods that we need to combine perfectly in a perfectly balanced way and eat it in the perfectly right time. This is more about our attitudes and our behaviors towards food, eating and ourselves. What is an attitude? This is your belief about good and bad foods and who you are when you eat these good and bad foods. Are you bad when you eat bad foods, and when you eat good food, do you possess certain moral qualities? And maybe even you have more moral virtues than others. And when you eat bad food, you lose these virtues. These also are your automatic reactions to the moments when you slip off the diet, when you fall off the wagon. This is how you talk to yourself after overeating, after binging. And this is whether you eat to support yourself or do you eat to punish yourself for extra weight, for previous overeating, for extra piece of chocolate, for missing your training session. Is food for you a resource, a source of pleasure, or is it a threat, a hyperfocus, a subject of thought when you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed? Is it the center of your universe? So attitude is sort of cognitive and emotional filter through which we see ourselves, our bodies, our food, and very often attitude decides whether you eat healthily or this food is bad for you. What is healthy eating behavior according to science? It's eating according to your hunger and satiety cues. It's not eating when you are stressed, and it's not eating in response to emotions, so finding other strategies. Most of the time, it's unconditional permission to eat. You can eat anything and everything you want, but minding food-body congruence. You can eat anything you want, but minding how your body will feel straight after meal, in a few hours, next day, and in 2 years. And the science is not there yet. We cannot rely on it 100%, but what we know is that food must be the act of self-respect and self-care, and not control or punishment. Here are 4 rules you need to follow in order not to ruin your body with unhealthy eating. First of all, do not overeat, not because you're not allowed, but because you have self-compassion. Overeating is a huge burden for your digestive system, for your nervous system, and even for your self-perception. And regularly ignoring the signals of hunger will teach your brain to gradually ignore the signals more and more and more, and overeat more and more. And then this leads to insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, lack of energy, and chronic fatigue. And instead of saying I don't have willpower, it's better to stop and ask yourself, do I listen to myself? Do I listen to my body? Do I hear myself? And do I validate my unmet needs, my uncomfortable emotions, and maybe some chronic dissatisfaction with myself or my life? Second, shift focus from fighting with food to fighting with real problems. Very often food And problematic eating behavior is a symptom, and the root cause is somewhere else. And this is when you need therapy. We often eat when we're not hungry, when we're dissatisfied, we feel discomfort, we're dysregulated, when we're lonely, sad, threatened, afraid, ashamed, undesired, unloved. Very often, food is a source of soothing ourselves in conditions of threat. What is threat? It's not threat from outside, it's more about threat from inside. This is when you're afraid to keep cookies in your cupboard because you don't know what to expect from you. Will you come back home tonight and eat all the cookies? Is it anxiety that something can go wrong? Is it the feeling of loneliness, shame, unworthiness, undesirability? Is it in your internal critic, toxic self-criticism? Or is it constant tension in your body? And these are all the symptoms of activated nervous system. When you are in a fight or flight mode or freeze mode, food is a really short and effective way to self-soothe. It is a very effective way. It does help to calm down our nervous system. But the question is, are you happy with the consequences? But we know that this self-soothing is not real. Instead of really solving the problem, it just calms our nervous system for a couple of minutes, it grounds us, but then the problem is not solved, and we have another problem, such as feeling shit and guilty. So your real need is not ice cream. It's a need to be heard, to be supported, to be hugged. So instead of fighting with food, learn to see, I am threatened, I'm dysregulated, I'm in pain, I feel lonely, I'm looking for safety, I'm dysregulated. And normally, widely accepted ways to calm your nervous system down can be breathing, can be movement, and the contact with loved ones, and feeling your body, a warm blanket, warm drink, a cold shower, letting yourself cry. But from my experience working with people, this can be used, but if there are some cognitive patterns in your head that create constant threat, then you will be tired to constantly self-regulate with these methods. We need to work on your thinking, on your emotions, on deeper psychological needs, because you are worthy not only to survive but to thrive. Feel good, be calm, and have a good quality of life. Third rule, food-body congruence. What is food-body congruence? It's between physical signals of your body: hunger, satiety, energy, comfort, discomfort, comfort long-term and short-term, and your actions, choices of food, quantity of food, quality of food, the way you eat and when you eat. This is when your nutritional choices meet your physiological needs. This is like going on a date. You can have chemistry, or the date can host you with bloating, fatigue, or falling off the wagon. When you and your food are on the same way, then you feel energy, you feel satiety without being obsessed with food. You have clarity in your head, you feel emotional balance. And if you are trying to be good, but then you are in emotional or physical havoc, then this is body signals that something is wrong. So you need to be aware of how you feel after food, to be very aware of how you feel after food. Does the food really support me? Does it support my focus, my hormones, my energy, my mood? What do you value? And does it help me to build healthy relationships with my food and my body? Or does it undermine these relationships? This suits me, and this really knocks me down. And this is all very individual. The food that is good for this YouTube blogger may not be good for you. Even talking about scientifically proven nutrition advice, such as enough protein. It's very important to have enough protein in a meal, but sometimes it's okay to eat a cinnamon bun and not to worry, and this is what supports you the most in the moment. And fourth, how our psyche, our mind can ruin our body through healthy food. This is when you feel shame and guilt after you eat something wrong, and instead of gaining experience, this food in this amount, in this situation is not good for me, you start self-criticizing, actually self-attacking, properly self-attacking. This launches a vicious circle of overeating, feeling terrible, feeling guilt and shame, overeating to cope with guilt and shame. And finally, our brain will learn to associate food with threat, with anxiety, rather than with support and something good. So even the best food can be damaging if our choices are based on fear, shame, and lack of self-worth. Self-objectification can play a big role here, because when we self-objectify, we do not listen to our body's signals of satiety and hunger, we don't respect our body's needs, we starve ourselves, then we start binging, and then we completely lose any ability to listen to body's signals. And self-objectification is when we look at our bodies as an object which needs to be evaluated, which needs to be a joy to someone's eye, and we totally ignore that we are a personality. So we need to work not on our bodies, but with our bodies, and not base our self-worth on how we look like. It's also very damaging when we are dependent on someone's opinion of ourselves, of our bodies. It is natural to mind what other people think, but we shouldn't let it ruin our life and dictate what we should do. And when we try to meet others' expectations, then failing in one meal may be seen as a failure in life and being worthless, feeling worthless as a person for some reason. And finally, very often, healthy eating may be one of the forms of self-abuse. When you cannot eat a slice of pizza without self-criticism and guilt, when food is a source of anxiety, when outside it looks like you're in control, you have willpower, but inside it's a constant battle. This is not self-care, this is an obsession, which is masked as a mindful choice. So actual self-care is about asking, is this food about respect? Do I choose this food because I value myself and my body, and I feel worthy, and my body is worthy whatever size it is in? Is this action, is this choice about my well-being, or about trying to escape the reality and cope with difficult emotions? We not only can eat emotionally, we can starve emotionally, we can over-control what you eat emotionally. And finally, my relationships with food. Is it a partnership or is it a dictatorship? So before trying to sort out your eating, always look at your life in general, at relationships with yourself. So if you know what to do and how to do it, but you don't do it, start not with fighting with food, but figuring out your real problems. How can you help yourself? What needs to be solved? If this video was useful, please subscribe, like, and comment with guesses where I am now. And please take a look below the video. There are links to my Instagram profile, and where I show how I eat and exercise out of respect for my body. And there is an inquiry form if you're interested in psychotherapy with me or managing your weight. See you soon.